Hey guys, so we're going to be discussing something that everyone has an opinion on, and almost everyone hates it except for the select few that are obsessed with it and are hardcore in that fandom. At least they were, because this was something that was very popular a few years ago, and it got, there was either you were against it or you were all for it. There was never really a middle, and if you were in the middle, you were branded weird because you had to be on one side or the other. There was no being on the line. And what we're going to be talking about, what this whole introduction is about, is the Twilight Saga. Yay, fun! Okay, so I'm just talking about this because I was watching a video. It was called the Should've Book Tag. I think Should've Book Tag or something like that. And they were talking about covers and how they should have changed a certain cover, or they were talking about they should have stayed in one character's mind. And so then I was thinking, I was like, what book have I read that ever went to two characters, two separate characters' minds? And that was the last book in the Twilight Saga. And then covers, I was thinking about covers, and I was like, I actually fairly liked the covers, the original ones, the chess pieces and the apple and all those from the Twilight Saga. And I was like, it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty decent. I liked it, whatever. But then you have the movie versions, and then just bleh. But yeah, you're probably judging me oh my gosh, you read the Twilight Saga? Well, yeah, I read it, but mostly out of curiosity. This is a point in time when the books started getting popular. And I was in the 6th grade, I think, and it was because I only knew about it because my friend, one of my best friends, started reading them. She read them like that, but then she would actually read them, and then she loved talking about it to us because we didn't know what was going on. So all the information she was giving us, we were oh really? So we didn't have to say anything against her opinions and stuff. So she would almost retell the whole story, and she was so excited about it and everything. I was like, oh yeah. And I didn't actually even read them until the summer after 7th grade, and right before, was it? I think the summer after 7th grade, but right before 8th grade, because what happened was my sister's friend, she was a little younger than my sister, but still a little older than me, because my sister and I are 6 years apart. So she was maybe 2 years younger than my sister, 3 years older than me, something like that. And so she gave me the book. She's like, you've never read the Twilight series? I was like, no, I haven't gotten around to it. I don't really see the appeal, because I thought I was going to appeal, but sorry, my phone. Sorry. I thought I was going to be on the side of hating it because I had watched the first movie and I instantly was making fun of it because that's how I was. And then so she gave me the book. She's like, you have to read it. It's so much better. So then I took the book and I read it. And I'm a binge reader. I'm also a binge watcher. That's why Netflix was probably a bad idea for me, because then I started watching all shows seasons at a time. So I was reading the book and I went 3 days straight. The book is fairly thick too. So, but the writing style isn't that complicated. So it's not. Oh my god. It's not that complicated, so it's easy to read. So I read it in 3 days straight, and this is how I read it. I would wake up, she gave me the book maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and I started reading it, and I didn't stop reading until about midnight. And then I would put the book down, and I would go to sleep. And then I woke up, I would, use the bathroom, maybe take a shower, get something to eat, read the book again. And I would go on until bathroom breaks or food breaks or something like that. And then I would read until midnight again, and I would did that for 3 days. And that's just how I read sometimes. I just needed to do it. And so then I finished it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot better than the movies. Now, given the audience that I was going towards, the typical teenage female. It was perfect. Like, I hate that everyone's always bashing it and stuff, because the books are decent. The movies are kind of I think it's just the actors they got, and this kind of, they over dramatize it a bit, even though it's already pretty dramatic. And so, like, I read the book, and then I told her, like, I gave her a book back, and she told me that she would get me the second one, because, like, I wanted to finish the series, obviously. Like, the whole series was out by that time, and I wanted to read it. But she never gave me the second one, so I ended up going online and trying to find it, but then instead I found the audiobooks. So I had the audiobooks for the second one and the third one, which I think is New Moon and Eclipse. I think I think those are the books. So I did the audiobooks for that one, but those were on like YouTube, so each video was like 15 minutes long, and there were like 30 of them. And again, I binge heard those, because it's not like binge watching, but it's not binge reading, because it's an audiobook, so I binge heard them. Or binge listened? I don't know. But, so, like, those were like 3 days straight, and then I wanted, by the time I finished Eclipse, I was like, I'm determined to read the final book, because I'm not having this audiobook thing anymore, because I kind of feel like I'm cheating. So what I did is I waited until school started, and then I had to wait for this book to be in the library, because it just wasn't. Like, I kept going in and it wasn't in there, and like, oh my gosh, this was the problem of being in middle school at that period of time. Like, those books were never in. So then I finally got like the last book, but it was over like a long weekend. It was like 3 days, and you know what I did during those 3 days? I binge read it, and it was just, it got a little crazier at the end, and I was but I'm all talking about this and everything, and like how I read it and all that, because I kind of turned into the typical teenage girl, but I was 13. Like, of course I like turned into the typical teenage girl. I was turning into the typical teenage girl because I was the typical teenage girl. But I like, the Twilight series gets a bad rap because of the movies, and I did watch all the movies after I read the books, and they were terrible. Well, not completely terrible. You definitely had Taylor Lautner, so. But they were. And reading the books were so much better, except when it got to like the last one, I was like, about it is meh. But they were pretty good, and everyone's always like, if you like the Twilight series, you're obsessed with it, and I was not obsessed. I liked the Twilight series, but I also realized the ridiculousness of the series and of the movies. I was aware of how dramatic and crazy these were and ridiculous, but I still liked them and appreciated that for this writing style and for this like genre, like obviously it's going to be popular with one group and definitely not popular with all the other groups. And it was just the whole thing. It like was a controversy, and so like for a really long time I always went with the majority, which was like, I hate Twilight, they're ridiculous. But then I would also sympathize with like the fandom, and it was a whole mess. That was middle school, so that was when drama was, if you like the Twilight series, that was fantastic. And then high school happened and everything went to shit. Yay. Okay, so this is my little discussion about the Twilight series. Saga, I think it's Saga. And I'm sorry about my phone. I did toss it. I tossed it on my bed. It's already broken. I don't care. I did toss that phone. Oh my god, it keeps going off. I'm sorry that you saw my freak out. Okay? And I'm sorry if it interrupted the video at all, and if you laughed, good. Because I'm only here to entertain and talk about whatever the flip I feel like. Bye guys.